She was supposed to disappear after a few catalog shoots. Just another blonde face in a stack of modeling portfolios that agencies flip through daily. Instead, Claudia Schiffer became the most strategically brilliant supermodel of the 1990s. But here's what they don't tell you about surviving at the top of the fashion world. It's not just about having the right look, it's about having the right mind. While her peers battled addiction, exploitation, and industry burnout, Claudia played an entirely different game. She turned a chance encounter in a German nightclub into a billion-dollar empire. She made privacy a luxury brand. She chose family over fame at the height of her powers. So what really happened? How did a small-town lawyer's daughter from Germany outsmart an industry designed to chew up and spit out beautiful women? The answer might surprise you. The small-town beginning Rheinberg, Germany, 1970. Picture this: a quiet industrial town where the biggest excitement is the weekly market, and everyone knows everyone else's business. This is where Claudia Schiffer grew up, the daughter of a successful lawyer and a housewife. No fashion magazines, no modeling dreams, just a normal German childhood. Her father, Heinz, wanted her to follow in his footsteps. Law school, a respectable career, maybe marriage to a nice local boy. Claudia had other ideas, but even she couldn't have imagined what was coming. October 1987, 17-year-old Claudia is out dancing at a nightclub in Dusseldorf with friends. It's just a typical Saturday night for a German teenager, but across the crowded room, Michael Leviton from Metropolitan Model Agency spots something special. Not just her height or her blonde hair, but the way she moved, the confidence she carried without even knowing it. Excuse me, have you ever thought about modeling? It's the line every girl dreams of hearing. But Claudia's response was pure German practicality. Not really, I'm still in school. Leviton persisted. He saw something the fashion world didn't even know it was missing yet. Within weeks, Claudia was on a plane to Paris with a small suitcase and big dreams. But Paris wasn't ready for her. The French agencies took one look and basically shrugged. Too commercial, they said. Too obvious. This was high fashion's golden age of quirky editorial looks. Claudia's classic beauty felt almost old-fashioned. She was rejected by everyone who mattered. Elite, why not? The top agencies that launched careers, they all passed. For months, she struggled to book anything meaningful. Her parents were probably thinking she should come home and hit the law books. Then Ellen von Unwerth changed everything. The photographer saw what Paris missed. Claudia wasn't too commercial. She was the future of commercial. Their collaboration on the Guess campaigns in 1989 didn't just launch a career. It redefined what sexy could look like. Suddenly, commercial was cool, and Claudia Schiffer was about to become unstoppable. The rise and transformation. By 1990, Claudia had done something remarkable. She'd turned her biggest weakness into her greatest strength. Those same agencies that called her too commercial were suddenly scrambling to book her. But the real transformation came when Karl Lagerfeld spotted her. The legendary Chanel designer was flipping through magazines when he saw her Guess campaigns and stopped cold. "She reminds me of Brigitte Bardot," he told his team. "But better." This wasn't just flattery. Lagerfeld was rebuilding Chanel's image, and he needed a face that could bridge classic elegance with modern sexuality. Claudia became his muse, his living embodiment of what Chanel could be. The campaigns were revolutionary. Picture this: Claudia in those iconic Chanel suits, blonde hair cascading over black wool, looking like she owned boardrooms and ballrooms equally. These weren't just fashion photos, they were cultural statements. One shoot in particular changed everything. Lagerfeld positioned her in the famous Chanel tweed suit, but with a twist. She was lounging in a Parisian cafe, cigarette between her fingers, looking directly at the camera with an expression that said, "I know exactly what I'm worth." That single image appeared on billboards from New York to Tokyo. The financial impact was staggering. Chanel's sales jumped 30% in the first year of her campaigns. But more than that, she was reshaping what luxury looked like. Before Claudia, high fashion was untouchable, cold, almost intimidating. She made it aspirational and achievable. By 1992, she was earning $10,000 per day, more than most people made in a year. But here's where Claudia showed her strategic genius. While other supermodels were partying and dating rock stars, she was studying the business. She negotiated unprecedented deals. Not just modeling fees, but percentages of sales, licensing agreements, creative control. Her contracts read more like business partnerships than standard modeling agreements. She understood something her peers missed. The supermodel moment wouldn't last forever. The industry was already talking about the Big Five: Naomi, Linda, Christy, Cindy, and Claudia. But Claudia was playing a different game entirely. When Naomi was making headlines for throwing phones at assistants, Claudia was quietly negotiating contract terms. When Linda was retiring and unretiring every few years, Claudia was building relationships with photographers who would define the next decade. The numbers tell the story. By 1995, she was appearing on over 1,000 magazine covers worldwide. Not just fashion magazines, but Time, Newsweek, major international publications. She'd transcended modeling and become a global icon. Her influence extended beyond fashion. She was changing how German women saw themselves, how the world saw European beauty. Before Claudia, American and British models dominated. She proved that elegance and intelligence could be just as powerful as edgy rebellion. But the real test was coming. In 1994, she started dating David Copperfield, the world's most famous magician. Suddenly, Claudia wasn't just a supermodel. She was half of the most photographed couple on Earth. The media attention was relentless. Paparazzi followed them everywhere. Tabloids speculated about everything from their sex life to their breakfast choices. This was fame at a level that destroyed careers and lives. How she handled what came next would determine whether she'd survive or become another cautionary tale. Evolution and legacy. Here's where most supermodels make their fatal mistake. They chase every opportunity, say yes to everything, burn bright and burn out fast. Claudia Schiffer did the exact opposite. In 1999, at the absolute peak of her fame, she made a decision that shocked the fashion world. She walked away from David Copperfield and the circus that surrounded their relationship. No dramatic breakup, no tell-all interviews, just a quiet exit from the spotlight. "I realized I was living my life for other people," she later explained. While tabloids speculated wildly about the split, Claudia was already 3 moves ahead. She met Matthew Vaughn, a British film producer, in 2002. Their relationship was different from day one. No red carpets, no staged photo ops, no magazine exclusives about their romance. When they married in 2002, most people didn't even know she was engaged. This wasn't retirement, it was evolution. While other 90s supermodels struggled to stay relevant, Claudia was building something more sustainable. She launched her cashmere company, not as a celebrity vanity project, but as a serious business venture. She studied supply chains, manufacturing, retail distribution. The fashion world kept calling. Major brands offered her contracts that would have set her up for life. She turned down most of them. When she did work, it was selective, strategic, always on her terms. Her comeback strategy was masterful. She partnered with brands that elevated her image rather than trading on nostalgia. When she worked with Dolce & Gabbana in 2006, it wasn't about recapturing her 90s glory. It was about proving her relevance to a new generation. The younger models started studying her moves, how she negotiated, how she presented herself, how she managed her image across decades. Fashion schools began teaching courses using her career as a case study in longevity. In 2007, she returned to modeling, but differently. The campaigns she chose elevated her image rather than just capitalizing on nostalgia. She worked with cutting-edge photographers, luxury brands that matched her evolution from young model to sophisticated businesswoman. By 2010, something remarkable had happened. While many of her contemporaries were fighting to stay visible, struggling with the industry's youth obsession, Claudia had become more valuable than ever. Scarcity had become her superpower. Today, she appears when she chooses to appear. Her Instagram has millions of followers who hang on her rare posts. When she does a campaign or magazine cover, It's international news because it's so unexpected. She proved something the fashion industry didn't want to admit. Intelligence beats youth, strategy trumps desperation, and sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is walk away when everyone expects you to stay. Closing resolution. So what really happened to Claudia Schiffer? She did something almost impossible in the fashion world. She won the game by refusing to play by its rules. Think about it. In an industry built on disposability, she made herself irreplaceable. In a world that thrives on drama, she chose mystery. While others competed for attention, she made attention compete for her. The small-town German girl who was once too commercial for Paris runways had figured out something her peers never did. The real power wasn't in being seen everywhere, it was in being seen when it mattered. Today, Claudia splits her time between London and her Suffolk countryside estate with Matthew and their 3 children. She runs her businesses, chooses her projects carefully, and lives largely outside the celebrity machine that once consumed her life. When young models ask for her advice, she tells them the same thing. It's not about how famous you become, it's about how you manage that fame. She turned down more opportunities than most people ever get offered, and that's exactly why she's still here. The fashion world has changed completely since her 90s heyday. Social media, fast fashion, influencer culture, everything moves faster and burns brighter. But Claudia Schiffer endures, not despite the changes, but because she saw them coming. She understood that in a world of constant noise, silence becomes the most powerful statement. In an age of oversharing, privacy becomes the ultimate luxury. And in an industry obsessed with youth, experience becomes priceless. That 17-year-old dancing in a Dusseldorf nightclub couldn't have imagined this ending, but maybe that's the point. Sometimes the best strategy is not having one, just staying true to who you are while everything else changes around you. If you enjoyed discovering the strategic genius behind Claudia Schiffer's incredible career, hit that subscribe button for more untold stories about the icons who changed everything. I'll see you in the next one. If you enjoyed discovering the strategic genius behind Claudia Schiffer's incredible career, hit that subscribe button for more untold stories about the icons who changed everything. I'll see you in the next one.